Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today, Bitcoin bounces back slightly after a massive ETF dump yesterday. Now we know the final numbers, and it is not good. But does this mean it's over? Does this mean Bitcoin is ready to rally after this very important Fed meeting? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why those that sold made a huge, gigantic mistake. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Good morning. Bitcoin is looking stronger today, 58.7. Okay, we did bottom out a couple times around 56 mark. We're a little bit higher. And today, the U.S. market is looking like it wants to rally. You know, I forgot, since I didn't cover these FOMC meetings for so long, I forgot usually when Powell speaks, that day the market goes down. And then afterwards, the market starts to rally. So it would not surprise me if today and tomorrow and this weekend, we have huge rallies. Now, there is something to this though. You know, it's not just like the market's rallying because Powell spoke. It's because actually, if you listen to what he said, it was actually very dovish. Cuts are still coming, right? However, before the press conference, I guess it's not before, but the entire day yesterday, there were a lot of people that were very afraid, okay, and decided to take profits or decided to just cut their losses, one or another. And I think it's a combination of retail people and also a lot of institutions. Because, you know, institutions, like I always said, they feel FOMO and they fall for FUD too because they're humans, right? They're led by humans. So I feel like a lot of them made a lot of mistake yesterday by panic selling. So yesterday we had the biggest ETF outflow we have ever seen so far for Bitcoin. Minus 564 million. And I can't even just blame Grayscale for all of it because Grayscale did have a massive outflow, 167 million. But everyone else also sold, including BlackRock and Fidelity and Bitwise, all of them, right? And I like to make a clarification. It's not them in particular, it's more of the people and the institutions that were holding on shares decided to sell. So they had no choice but to sell. But nevertheless, it was the first time that BlackRock's ETF actually had an outflow. Look at the massive inflows. They basically took everything in from Grayscale. Yesterday was the first time they actually had a negative 37 million outflow. This is to be expected. At some point in time, there will be outflows. It can't be never-ending inflows like Grayscale before, right? There will be days where there will be outflows. But here's the thing, okay? It's a giant mistake. It's a giant mistake because, you know, people tend to focus too narrowly on a small time frame. But if you just zoom out a little bit, this is why I say, when in doubt, zoom out. If you just zoom out a little bit, you'll realize that Bitcoin never stops going up. It really doesn't. You see those arrows? I mean, they're like non-existent dips. They're like maybe little slowdowns. But that's how it is for Bitcoin when you zoom out. So when in doubt, zoom out and you'll realize that Bitcoin is the greatest store of value, the greatest hedge against inflation, the greatest decentralized network that we have in existence. And it's not going to stop going up and up and up and up and up and up. It will just keep on going up forever because it's that good. So people that are focused on short term, they're going to lose out. You just have to put it all together, and that's what I do for you guys, okay? The growing fundamentals, the worsening macro conditions, and the scarcity factor. You put all these together, Bitcoin is going to go much higher. Even BlackRock is saying that sovereign wealth funds, okay, and they're huge, trillions upon trillions. Pension funds, huge. Trillion upon trillion. Endowments, huge. Trillion upon trillions will trade spot ETFs soon. Think about that, okay? So, even BlackRock themselves are giving Wall Street and everyone, hint, hint, we're going to see trillions upon trillions come in, okay? Hint, hint, while the market is low, while Bitcoin is down a little bit, get ready because the massive liquidity injection is about to come, right? So, I mean, this is straight from BlackRock, guys. Even the second largest European bank bought Bitcoin ETFs too. I mean, like literally everyone is buying, okay? Everyone that understands, everyone that truly have studied Bitcoin, just even for a few hours, know that Bitcoin is what you want to hold long term. It's really that simple. Now, we did have our halving event, and some people are still quite confused. Well, George, we had the halving event. Why is Bitcoin not going up? Why is Bitcoin stagnant? And why is Bitcoin coming down? Where's my Lambo? According to Help in the live chat. It will come. You just have to be patient and wait, because if you look at previous cycles, same thing, okay? I'll even zoom out for you guys. I'll go to the weekly scale right now, and then I have, what is it? The halving indicator, right? Look at this. 2 halvings ago, we had a halving event in July, and look at how long it took. It took literally like almost, 8 months before halving really had effect on Bitcoin and it started skyrocketing, okay? 2 cycles ago. 1 cycle ago, the halving event was in May, and then look at it. It didn't really start moving until October or September, you could say. That took a little bit, right? 5 to 6 months. So it could be the same thing right now. Maybe we got to wait 2 months. Maybe we got to wait 3 months, right? We just had halving. Maybe we're not going to see movement until here, August or September or even October. We got to wait a little bit. But look at where we are right now versus where we were the last cycle and the cycle before at the halving event. I mean, 2 cycles ago, Bitcoin was only at like under 1,000. And the last cycle, when we had the halving event, Bitcoin was below 10,000. So yes, Bitcoin, when in doubt, zoom out. It just keeps on going up and up and up. And you just have to have some patience, okay? Maybe we have to wait 2 months. Maybe we got to wait 4 months. Maybe we got to wait 6 months. But the parabolic bull run is going to come, and it's going to be glorious. And that's when the Lambos start flowing. And here's something else that's really good. Mr. 100, who actually stopped buying for a staggering 2 weeks for whatever reason. He was buying like 500, 600, 800, 900 Bitcoin per day. And all of a sudden on 422, he decided to sell 1,000 Bitcoin, which is a lot, but still pales in comparison to how much he holds. And then just stopped and disappeared until today. And today, Mr. 100 bought 1,550 Bitcoin by himself. Keep in mind, there's only 450 produced per day. This guy bought almost 3 days worth just this morning at 58,000, okay? I don't know why he stopped for a period, but he decided enough is enough. I need to start DCAing again, okay? Maybe because he thinks it's just such a bargain, right? So there are people that truly understand. There are people that will continue to DCA forever. And that is the right course, because if you truly understand Bitcoin, you won't ever go away. And here's something else. If you look at the market drawdowns from every single cycle, right? The ones that we had before were way, way, way worse. Just look at where we are in the purple. All the drawdowns that we had, compared to even the drawdowns from 2018 to 2021. and the one before that, and before that, and before that. Do you notice that our drawdown right now is nothing compared to the drawdowns from the previous cycle? I mean, we're talking about 30, 35, 40% drawdown, guys. Imagine right now if we had a 40% drawdown, we would be back down to like the 40s. Think about the disastrous sentiment we would have if we actually fell down 40%, right? But we didn't. We're in the 20s. But we did have that. We did have that in 2021. We did have that in 2020. I mean, seriously, we fell down to below 4,000 in 2020. That was not too long ago. That was only 4 years ago. 4 years ago in crypto seems like it was just yesterday. I still remember falling from 10,000 down to 4,000. Massive panic, right? But those that stayed true, continued DCA, I mean, they're up how many percent, right? That's the reality. And there's something else. If you're a TA person, you'll know that there's a couple things going on. First of all, Bitcoin's pattern's kind of following the Wyckoff pattern, which means if that's the case, we will get a bounce very soon. And basically the big boys or the market makers are just manipulating Bitcoin right now. I think there's some truth to that. But also, you know, we just need breaks sometimes. We just need breaks sometimes. Like all these previous times when we had a breakout from a current level, there's a slight deviation. And then what happens after deviation? We come back up and form a new high every single time, right? So are we in that deviation right now? You can make the argument we are. And we're getting ready to form the next leg up when Bitcoin is ready. It's just that simple. All right, last thing for Bitcoin, I saw this. MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor, they're launching an enterprise platform for building decentralized identity applications on Bitcoin, DIDs. So Michael Saylor already hinted that basically he wants to convert MicroStrategy into like a Bitcoin DApp producing or incubation company, right? MicroStrategy, most of you guys don't know, is a business intelligence software company. It has nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's just that Michael Saylor is so bullish on Bitcoin. He just keeps buying and buying and buying. But I mean, this is a natural evolution. Why would you not start building Bitcoin tools or incubate Bitcoin projects or help enterprises get involved with Bitcoin, right? That makes a whole lot of sense. So he's starting that journey now, right? Starting with digital identities, but who knows what else he's going to expand to, right? So that's very positive. What else is positive? Well, what about the alts, you guys might be wondering? Are the alts coming back? Well, there are a lot of people that are starting to look at the dominance of Bitcoin. And the dominance of Bitcoin is starting to waver a little bit, which means that the momentum could be shifting to the alts in the near future. I mean, people are charting it. You know, for me, I don't put much weight against charting like Bitcoin dominance or altcoin dominance, whatever dominance you want to chart, because it really depends on how much money is flowing in. If you got all these sovereign wealth funds and pension funds that's go throw trillions into Bitcoin, I don't care what the dominance chart shows, Bitcoin dominance will go up, right? It's really that simple. You can't control some of these things. But in a normal environment, I guess you can track it. And every cycle you do see Bitcoin dominance go up and then start coming down. And that's usually when altcoin season starts. Right now, I think it's a little early for Bitcoin, for altcoin season, but you know what? We have started seeing a lot of these alts turn green. For example, look at Solana. A double-digit day, plus 11%. Solana was just too oversold recently, right? But you could see today, pretty green day. Obviously, it's because we're recovering from our previous bottom, right? We're still lower than we were last week. I get that. But the reason why you do see some alts doing very well, because there are people that are DCAing. A lot of people are not going away. This is not their first cycle. Any of you guys watching, probably not your first cycle. You know how you benefit is by buying low and selling high, right? And we're definitely lower than where we were just a week ago or 2 weeks ago or even a month ago. So right now, things are on sale. It's like if you walked into Walmart or Target or wherever, and now you see things discounted by 25%, 30%, 40%. Your favorite crypto are all discounted right now. It's a great time to be buying. Great time to be buying. Yeah, I think that's what I want to share. All right, let's do some Q&A. Bruce, thank you. I've been doing this for a while. All right, scrolling up. Let's see. David says it's been pretty ugly for 2 months with no real recovery yet. Actually, it's more like 1 month. It's not really 2 months. Let's see if you're right, though. So we peaked right around here, right? That was April 8th. So that's 1 month. I mean, 2 months ago, we're still up here. So really, it's only been 1 month. You see, in crypto, it does seem like time moves very, very slow. So 1 month feels like 6 months, and 6 months feels like 6 years. But that's truly not the case. Okay, so the question right now, short term, is will Bitcoin fall further and hit this trend line, right? That's what everyone wants to know. If it continues its downward trajectory, it's probably going to end up somewhere around here, 52 or 53,000. Okay, but if it doesn't and it can't hold, I think we just trend right back up to around here, 63, 64, and then we may go sideways up and down a little bit until probably, after July, right? If I had to make two guesses where Bitcoin's going to go short term, that's what I would say. But that doesn't mean that you can't profit by simply buying bottom, right? Buying low. If we do hit 52,000, I would say that's a golden opportunity. But even here versus our high, we're talking about like a 25% dip. Pretty good pickup opportunity right here. And a lot of alts have fallen a lot more than that. John West is asking about XCN. I don't know too much about that, man. JEA. Hey, George, any plans to come to the Northeast? What does that mean? Like Maine? Massachusetts? What's going on there? Love your content. How does 1,000 per soul sound to you? It sounds great. It's going to get there, for sure. It could even get there by the end of the year. Despite us coming down, I don't see any reason why Solana can't hit 1,000 by the end of this year. I think it's a healthy, Matthew says, I think it's a healthy correction before we get a parabolic. They need a narrative to slow Bitcoin down. Again, yes and no. I'm sure there's some market makers or manipulators that are, causing more pain or whatever. Maybe the exchanges are to liquidate people. But the reality is, prior to April, okay, we had 7 consecutive green months. 7. We never had 7 straight green months before, ever in Bitcoin's 15-year history. Take a second to think about it. Bitcoin has never had 7 consecutive green months. So April happens to be the red month, right? Get it out of the way. You can't have 12 consecutive or 24 consecutive green months. It's just not going to happen. A little retrace, a little downward movement is actually quite healthy. And those of you guys that did listen and set aside some cash, remember I've always said 20, 25, 30% cash. Those of you guys that do have that cash pile, you would love this, right? No one wants to buy on the way up. If Bitcoin was heading to 80 or 90 right now, think about how hard it is to buy when it keeps on going up, right? You want to buy when there are dips or when there's retracements, right? That's how you profit, not by FOMO in at top as it's going higher. I mean, quite honestly, if Bitcoin was sitting at 80,000 or 90,000 right now, I can't even say, well, it's a good buying opportunity. It's, because it's not, because it's at all-time high, right? But right now, while we're lower, 25% lower than our top, yeah, it's a great buying opportunity. But if we're at 90K right now, like, I don't know what I would say about Bitcoin. Like, yeah, I think it's going to go higher, but is it a good buying opportunity at 90K? Not really. Crypto is the future. Appreciate that. I mean, we hear about sovereign wealth funds and pension funds, endowments, coming into Bitcoin for a long time. They would never buy physical Bitcoin, but will they add spot ETFs? Yes, especially from BlackRock, right? So I believe BlackRock is telling the truth. When these guys actually truly start filling their funds with Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs, and that could come later this year, that's when we truly will see Bitcoin start skyrocketing above six figures. I mean, those guys have so much money, like trillions upon trillions. Just a little bit, okay? Just like a few percent going into Bitcoin spot ETFs will drive Bitcoin to heights that we've never seen before. Brian, hello from New York. Hello. Come to Boston. I hear Boston has the worst traffic of any city in America. You guys confirm if that's true or not. I don't hear about any crypto conferences happening in Boston. Maybe New York, but not Boston. But it is a city I've never been to. And I would love to eat. I love lobsters and crab legs. So I think I would enjoy Boston other than driving. I can't stand James. I can't stand the Celtics. I can't believe they haven't even. Did they even beat New York? Like, that shows you how bad they are. They can't even do four. They can't even sweep New York. I'll tell you, Houston traffic is nothing compared to some of the traffic from the bigger cities. Houston traffic can't be worse than LA traffic or New York traffic or Chicago traffic or Boston traffic. I think you guys in Houston just don't know. Well, U.S. market is looking green today. I saw this headline. Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs are now 90% down. At its peak, they were about 130, no, 100, yeah, 128 ETH. Now the floor price is about 13. So I don't know if NFTs are going to come back this cycle. Like right now, it doesn't seem like it. Now, this cycle is all about memes and tokenization. So I don't know if NFTs are going to come back strong. I really don't. They could, but right now they really have no momentum. Ace TV, welcome. Trencher. I don't know what the two have to do with each other, but I'll take your word for it. Carlos, just have your limousine driver take you around Boston. You know, that's the good thing. Guess what? It rained in Dubai again today. Wow, really? You know, that's a good thing about being in Dubai. You can order a chauffeur. Well, I was not driving around in a limousine, but it was just like a big Toyota SUV. But you can get your chauffeur all day, 10 hours, for about $220 USD. In the US, that's about 1 hour worth of time. But in Dubai, it was all day, 10 hours. And most days when I was in Dubai, I had them for like 12 to 14 hours, right? So I paid a little more, like 250 or something. And I tipped probably like 40, 50 bucks. But imagine that. You could get a chauffeur to drive you around for that much. And if you hired them for an entire month, I'm assuming it's even cheaper. But that's one of the good things about Dubai. Their services are still much cheaper than anywhere else. Not anywhere else, but at least compared to US. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Welcome. A lot of you guys tuning in a little bit late. You're probably wondering what the hell happened yesterday. Well, we had a massive outflow yesterday, okay? 564 million worth. That's no good. The largest we have ever seen so far in ETF history for Bitcoin at least. But you know what? Those that sold yesterday, I think they're not focused. They're not focused on the future. They're not zoomed out enough. Because if you zoom out enough, you realize that Bitcoin never stops going up. Okay. And you got some of the biggest financial players and institutions involved. And BlackRock is saying we're going to get trillions more coming in. It's just not a good time to be leaving. It's a good time to be DCing more. When are you visiting Sydney? You know, that's actually one of the places I do want to visit. So, yeah, I don't know what to do in Australia. Like hang out with kangaroos, is that really like a thing? Or, you know, just I don't know. I don't know what Australia is like. I don't even know what to do in Australia. I never hear anything about it other than the Olympics was there. Bali, you could have a driver and maid for under 500 a day or a month. Because I do hear a lot of people talk good things about Thailand, which I'm assuming is much cheaper, and Bali. But you know, it's such a long flight to either one of those places. But I hear Thailand is really beautiful. Raul is asking, is it okay to have more allocated and sold in BTC? I mean, you can. Is it wise? I don't think so. I think it's still wise to have more BTC. But, you know, I could see how a lot of people just hold more alts because they think it moves faster, which they do. But it goes in both directions. When there is a correction, alts dump much faster in Bitcoin too. I've been to Beijing before, but that was when that was like 20 years ago. So I don't know if Beijing changed, but I know a lot of other China cities have become super modernized. Like all the greatest, newest things being done are all in China right now. So I would like to go visit some of those new cities in China and visit a lot of the Asian countries. I generally don't because the flight is just so long to every Asian country from where I am. I've never been to Hawaii either. I think I gotta go to Hawaii too. And I was in Taiwan like 10 years ago. To be honest, Taiwan I think is not that impressive. Like I heard a lot about Taiwan, and then I visited, and I'm like, oh, okay. It wasn't it wasn't super impressive, to be honest. Still, it's very expensive, very crowded. The city kind of looks old. They have a nice, railroad system. It's like elevated railroad that you can get around the city, but the food was okay too. Honestly, I didn't think the food was that good because if you eat Chinese food in the U.S., it's overloaded with sodium and MSG, right? So if you go actually have true, authentic Taiwanese food in Taiwan, it feels bland because now it doesn't have so much sodium and MSG. That's quite honestly the truth. So it makes you feel like it's not as good. It's healthier for you, but it doesn't have the same kind of flavor. I do want to go to Singapore. I will be going to Singapore later this year. That is the one country I haven't been to, and a lot of people say good things about it. So, Jerry from Greece, welcome. Where do you go in Thailand? What is the major destination that everyone goes to in Thailand? That's what I want to know. Gene says Hawaii is the best place I've ever visited. A lot of people that have been there have told me that, but I don't know why though. It's not. It's super expensive, and it's just like a giant beach area, right? Like you could go to Cancun or Bahamas or anywhere, and have the same kind of beaches. So I don't know like what's so special about Hawaii that I want to know. Have you heard of Ocean and Fetch? Yes, merging. Andrew, yes. When people ask me about AI plays, that's the one I'm looking forward to, this AI side token, but I don't know when it's going to happen and exact details of it. So, um, but I'm waiting forward to it. Hawaii is so laid back. I mean, any beach area, you could just sit on the beach for all day and it's relaxing, right? But like, what makes Hawaii so special? I've been to Aruba before too. I actually went to Aruba for my honeymoon and it was fantastic too. Like, yeah, everywhere in the Caribbean is fantastic for beach life. So I'm just wondering how Hawaii is better than they, or maybe it's not. Jack is asking about Aerodrome. I mean, I think they're the dominant decks on base, and base is going to continue to support them. And as memes get stronger with base, Aerodrome will get stronger. Just like look at Jupiter. Jupiter is huge because of memes, and Aerodrome will be the same. I don't know if I could pronounce that right. Is that Phuket? Is that the city? Phuket is the what is where everyone goes in Thailand. Hawaii has black sand beaches. I've never heard of that, and they have active lava flow volcanoes. I don't know. That actually scares me. Like, do you really want to be stuck on an island when there's active volcanoes? In Singapore, people get death penalties for possession of marijuana. That's why drugs are so low there. That's good to know. Avalanche or Cardano, which one do you see will do the best? I like Avalanche better than Cardano. Hawaii has everything, lots of beaches, hiking, culture, fun nightlife, amazing hotels, super fun, take a trip. I will eventually. I just don't see the big deal. I mean, I do and I don't. Do you think this run will be good for RWA, such as Ondo, True, and many others? Yes. I think RWA is going to be a big narrative of this cycle. Even though many of the RWA projects I don't like because they're just more like banking stuff, like tokenizing bank treasury yields and fiats and stuff. Like that's not for me at all. But I do think the narrative is still going to be big. Hawaii has too many Americans. It doesn't feel like you're away from home. See, that's the thing about US. For better and worse. Everywhere you go in the US is pretty much the same. Of course, there's a difference between going to a beach area versus a city, yes, and there's a big difference between going to Texas versus Los Angeles. Yes, I get those. But for the most part, you have your comfort zone. You see your same franchise stores, big box stores, wherever, same restaurants everywhere. So that's good and it's bad. Because it's good, you know what you like and you can just go to them. It's bad because you already know what they're like, so it doesn't matter where you go, it's the same thing. So I think being in America or traveling in America has its advantages and disadvantages, but when you go to a completely different city or a country, that's where you kind of experience something new. So, but new doesn't mean it's always good, right? Like I complain about Paris a lot. I went to Paris. It's nice to see old culture, to see all the museums, but I hated all the restaurants there. I hated all the food there, right? So it's not new is not always good. I think Dubai I liked a lot better because it's new and it's old, meaning that there were a lot of new things I've never seen before, but there's a lot of creature comfort stuff that I'm used to, right? So that's how I feel. I don't know. All right, that's it. Overall, guys, stay strong. We had a massive dump yesterday from the institutions and retail. Massive ETF dump, okay? But we will recover from this, guys. Don't give up. Stay strong. Stay focused. And I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. In the meantime, I got to go check out this Phuket place in Thailand because everyone's talking about it. All right. Have a good one. Oh, by the way, I got something to show you guys before you leave.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.